Welcome back to Secrets of Superpowers. April the 30th, 1945. Berlin is on fire. Soviet forces are mere hundreds of meters from the Führer bunker. The world is officially informed. Adolf Hitler and his wife, Eva Braun, are dead for historians. The accepted narrative is direct: suicide by cyanide and a gunshot. Testimonies exist, as do recovered fragments. But this defining moment of the 20th century was instantly poisoned by doubt. Neither Stalin nor certain Western intelligence chiefs were ever entirely convinced that the Führer had truly perished. The evidence was too scarce, the cremation too rushed. From this void of certainty, the most enduring and captivating conspiracy theory of the war was born. Adolf Hitler did not die, but executed a sophisticated escape to South America to establish a clandestine Fourth Reich today. We will breach these formally sealed archives and investigate why did the official accounts, involving Soviet military and the FBI, contradict themselves and fuel international skepticism? How did ODESSA and the Ratlines, funded by the Reich's vanishing gold, provide the ultimate escape route? What are the chilling proofs in South America that believers cling to? Secret mansions, eyewitness accounts of his life after 1945. And how far does the rabbit hole truly go? This is the story of how the war ended in Europe. But the terrifying legend of its principal villain was just beginning its hidden journey. The contradictory official story and the gaps in the narrative, chaos in the bunker and the final moments. The problem of identification. Hitler's death did not occur in solemn ceremony, but amidst panic and relentless shelling. Witnesses, including his last bodyguard, Rochus Misch, who saw the bodies but not the act of death, provided confusing and highly emotional accounts. The fatal discrepancies: was it cyanide, a gunshot, or both? Different witnesses in adjacent rooms heard different sounds. This created the first fatal crack in the official story. The suspicious cremation, the bodies, doused in petrol, were only partially burned due to the constant shelling and the scarcity of fuel. The bodies were charred, but not fully destroyed. This negligence created the perfect mythological escape hatch. If the bodies weren't 100% identifiable on sight, perhaps they were decoys. The teeth, the sole witness. The only reliable evidence recovered by the Soviets were jaw fragments, identified by Hitler's dental assistant. This was the most fragile, yet most crucial piece of evidence. The political divide. Joseph Stalin publicly cast doubt on the matter. At the Tehran conference, he suggested to Western leaders that Hitler might have escaped. This was not a mistake. It was a political maneuver that instantly elevated the escape theory to the level of a state secret. The FBI dossier and the Allies' deep mistrust. Suspicion was not limited to the Kremlin. The Allies were equally distrustful of German surrender narratives. The Hoover investigation. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover personally directed the collection of data on a possible hiding. The FBI dossier, later declassified, contains hundreds of pages of testimonies from Argentina claiming Hitler arrived by submarine. The Argentine fever, between 1945 and 1947. Rumors of a Nazi convoy circulated in Argentina. The FBI received letters about Hitler's alleged changed appearance, shaved mustache, baldness, and the use of glasses. While most of these testimonies were later debunked, Their sheer volume and detailed nature forced American intelligence to seriously consider the possibility that the Führer had survived. The logistics of escape, gold, ODESSA, and the Antarctic myth, Operation ODESSA and Reich Gold. The financial foundation. An escape of this magnitude would require flawless logistics and colossal financing. The ODESSA network. This was a very real, though decentralized, network of former SS officers organized to assist Nazi fugitives. It provided forged documents, safe passage, and global hiding spots. The Perón factor, Argentine President Juan Perón, who held strong nationalist and anti-American sentiments, played a crucial role by welcoming and accommodating Nazi arrivals. This provided a political roof for the Ratlines. Financing the escape, Operation Tierra del Fuego. The escape was not merely funded by sympathizers, but by the Reich's gold and looted artworks. Valuables smuggled by the Nazis into neutral countries, Argentina, Spain, Switzerland, became the insurance fund for the entire operation. This proves the elite had the resources to arrange Hitler's escape. They secret U-boats and the myth of base. 211. That the transatlantic journey is the bedrock of the conspiracy, the enigma of U-530 and U-977. These two large U-boats surrendered in Mar del Plata, Argentina, months after Germany's surrender, missing their logbooks and offering implausible explanations for the delay. Notably, U-977 spent 70 days submerged. A phenomenal feat. This anomaly didn't just fuel the myth. It legitimized it in the world press. The Antarctic bastion, Base 211. The myth claims the U-boats weren't just heading to Argentina. They were allegedly transporting valuables and passengers to a secret, high-tech base in Antarctica, known as Base 211, New Schwabenland. While this theory is purely speculative, it provides the perfect ideological location for the Fourth Reich, safely beyond the reach of the Allies. Life after death, the trail of the Fourth Reich. Argentinian bastions and the Führer's private life. Conspiracy theories assign Hitler not just a hiding place, but an entire second life. Hacienda Analco, the Gunther Nest, the lavish estate on Lake Noel Huapi, Bariloche, became the epicenter of the theory. It was purchased by a wealthy German architect. It is claimed that Hitler and Eva Braun lived here under the alias Mr. and Mrs. Gunther. The Christabel Hellman testimony. The most sensational accounts were published in 2017. Hellman claimed his mother worked at Analco and that he saw Hitler there in the 1950s. According to him, Hitler was a sickly, paralyzed man who died in the 1960s. And his grave is located on private property, the dangerous precedent. The undeniable fact that high-ranking Nazis like Adolf Eichmann and Joseph Mengele lived safely in Argentina and Brazil for decades is the strongest circumstantial evidence for those who believe in Hitler's escape. It proves the logistics were achievable. The verdict and the hard truth. Modern forensics and the final verdict. Despite all the tension and dramatic theories, modern science has finally provided a definitive answer. The 2018 French study, researchers gained access to the skull and jaw fragments in Moscow. They confirmed, 1. These were Hitler's teeth. They had dental work matching his dentist's records. 2. The absence of meat fibers on the teeth confirmed he had not eaten before death. 3. Bluish deposits on the dentures strongly indicated cyanide exposure. The collapse of the escape. This forensic evidence conclusively disproves the escape theory from a criminal perspective. Hitler died in Berlin. Why the myth endures? The escape myth remains alive because it is dramatic and symbolic. It allows people to avoid the banality of evil and believe that the worst dictator did not die a mundane death in a dark cellar but faced some consequence later, alone. It also served Soviet propaganda purposes to keep enemies on edge. Adolf Hitler, according to all reliable evidence, died in Berlin. But the legend of the U-boats and the hidden treasures in Patagonia will forever remain the most vivid hybrid of history and human fear. What do you think? Is there any chance that a fraction of the archives was indeed smuggled out, and that information that changes this narrative is still hidden somewhere? Share your opinion in the comments if you are ready for the next great mystery. Subscribe to Secrets of Superpowers and hit the like button next time. We will finally delve into the most mysterious and largest construction project of the Reich, Complex Reis, the secret of the Underground Reich. See you then.